What is a thin value bet in poker strategy? Have you ever found yourself in a poker hand where you feel confident, but not overwhelmingly so? That's where thin value bets come into play. So, what exactly is a thin value bet in poker strategy? A thin value bet is a wager made with a hand that is only slightly stronger than what your opponent might hold. You expect to win just over half the time if your opponent calls. This type of bet is different from a standard value bet, which is made when you have a clearly stronger hand. Thin value betting is often used on later streets, especially the river. This is when you believe your opponent will call with weaker hands, but the odds of winning are close to 50%. The goal here is to extract extra chips in situations where your hand is just ahead of your opponent's calling range. Let's break down some key points about thin value bets. First, your hand should have marginal strength. You are not a dominant favorite, but you still have enough of an edge over your opponent's potential hands to make the bet worthwhile. Next, you need to consider your opponent's calling range. It's essential to estimate that their range includes enough weaker hands that would be willing to call your bet. When it comes to bet sizing, thin value bets are typically smaller. This encourages your opponent to call with weaker holdings. Context is also important. Thin value bets work best when your perceived range includes bluffs. This makes it more likely that your opponent will call with hands that are not as strong. Additionally, if a scare card hits the board, opponents may expect you to bluff and call lighter. Making thin value bets successfully requires good hand reading skills and an understanding of your opponent's tendencies. You need to analyze the situation carefully, considering your hand, your opponent's likely holdings, the board texture, and betting patterns. For example, if you hold a hand like Queen Jack on a board, where your opponent might call with Queen 10 or 9-8, this could be a thin value bet. You would only make this bet if you believe they will call with those weaker hands. In essence, thin value betting is a smart tactic to maximize your profit by betting with hands that are just slightly ahead of your opponent's calling range. It relies heavily on your ability to read ranges and understand your opponent's behavior to be effective.